Hey y'all, it's Lonnie with the Sasha Roots Power Program, back at it again for y'all. Today, as you can see, I'm just gonna be making a video about how to successfully search for an apartment and do it the correct way. You know what I'm saying? Um, we sometimes this is the type of stuff that I know I wasn't taught. Um, Growing up, I kind of had to learn this on my own. So that's what I'm here for, to, kind of spit a little bit of game to y'all and give y'all the 411 on how this stuff works. So I'm not going to wrap y'all up too much, but um, it is a very fun thing, I think, for me anyway. I'm kind of a person that's into interior design. So I love apartment section because I just love seeing the different types of apartments, you know what I'm saying? The different ways that the buildings are built, the different ways that the apartments are built on the inside, the layout, the floor plans of them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really love that part of apartment searching. I'm sorry, I got my music playing in the background. It's a vibe, it's a vibe. But like yeah, anyways, back to the apartments. Yeah, so it can be a beautiful thing, but it's also very stressful. It is not a cakewalk at all. Because you gotta wait, you gotta spend money, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta fill out paperwork and stuff. Like, it can be a little bit of a hassle, it can be a little bit of a headache, but in the end, it's all worth it because then you have somewhere to call your home, you have somewhere to be stable, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's very important. Okay? So I'm not gonna wrap y'all up too much like I was saying before, but I'm gonna just go ahead and jump right into it. Um, so apartment search is the topic. And the first thing we're gonna talk about is just some things that are or should be important to you as the tenant. So the tenant is the person that is renting from this person or this place. So uh, first thing that I say is the most important is location. So you want to make sure that, especially for those of us with children, if you do have kids or whatever, you want to make sure that the location is going to be the best location for you and your child, especially the child, as far as safety goes. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be walking outside and shaking in your boots because you're scared that something might happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to have that fear around their own home. You know what I'm saying? So you want to just make sure that it's a safe environment, it's a safe place for you and your kid, especially if you have a kid. But if you're like me and you don't have any kids, you just want to make sure that it's safe for you. Also, you want to make sure that it's convenient for you as well. So, just giving an example, let's say I lived in Friendship Heights or in Tinleytown, but everything I did is down at Eastern Market or on the Anacostia side. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of inconvenient for me because everything that I do, I mean, I'm talking my doctor's appointments, grocery stores I like to go to, like, just all that stuff like that I do right here on the Anacostia side. We're just giving an example. But I live in Tinleytown. That's not really convenient because that's quite a travel. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't drive, then you're on a train having to do all this. Then it's coronavirus out here, so you never know when the next train or the next bus is coming. It's just crazy. So I say location for safety and convenience. Try to, now if you can't, find anything in the location that you primarily do things in, then, unfortunately, it doesn't always happen that way where you can find your location, a perfect location to live in, where you can still commute easily to everything you have to do. But if you can prevent, a long commute, then I definitely say location is definitely important for those two top reasons, convenience and safety. So we will move on to the next one, which is bedrooms. You want to make sure, like I was saying with the whole situation with kids, if you do have a child, you know what I'm saying, you want to make sure that it's enough bedrooms. Or if you have more than one child, you get what I'm saying, you want to make sure that it's enough bedrooms in the house to be able to fit everybody comfortably in, their space. bathrooms, of course, bathrooms and bedrooms work hand in hand. Normally, I've noticed that you get another bathroom with, normally, 3 bedrooms probably have like 1 bathroom, or maybe sometimes if it's nice, a 1.5 bathroom. But 4 bedrooms, you normally get 2 bathrooms. So I guess every 2 bedrooms you get a bathroom. So maybe that's why 3 bedrooms only get a half bathroom, but I don't know. But no, yeah. So normally that's how it works. Every 2 full rooms you get a bathroom. So 4 bedroom, you're probably looking at 2 bathrooms, maybe 2.5 if it's nice. A 3 bedroom, you're probably still looking at 1 bathroom, maybe 1.5 if it's nice. You know what I'm saying? But that just all depends. So yeah, bathrooms and bedrooms definitely work hand in hand, but you want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, everybody is in their space, everybody is comfortable in their space, and there's no issues. So we went over location, bathroom, bedroom, space. Like I said, you want to make sure that even the common areas are spacious, like the living room, you know, especially if you do have children. I keep going back to the folks with kids. If you do have children, you want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, the living room is spacious, or, you know, your rooms are spacious, the bedrooms are nice, are a nice size, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by when I say space. Does it have a washer and dryer inside? We want to ask these types of questions. Or is there a washer and dryer downstairs? Like, is there a laundry room downstairs in the building? Or do I have to go to the laundromat? Like, what do I have to do? Another one is pets. So you want to make sure, especially if you're a pet lover, you want to make sure, like, you want to make sure that you are, that you can have pets. Because if you can't have pets, then that might be a problem for the apartment that you picked. Especially if you're a pet lover. So I want you to, you know what I'm saying, just consider these things. Just think about these things. These are some things that I feel like are important that we, you know what I'm saying, that we need to think about. And again, I'm doing this video because I feel like this is not this stuff that people teach you before you leave home. You know what I'm saying? Whether you left home at 16, 17, 18, 25, 30, like, people don't really, your parents, or, you know what I'm saying, whoever you lived with or the people around you, they don't really teach you, like, hey, this is the process of applying for an apartment, and this is what you should be looking for, this is what you shouldn't be looking for, this is what you should do when you move in, this is what you shouldn't do, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is very helpful and informative information for anybody who's watching, for real. Especially if you don't know all this stuff already. So going back over our first box was our what's important to you box. So we're going location. We talked about location. We talked about bedrooms. We talked about bathrooms. We talked about the amount of space that we have. We talked about if there's a washer and dryer inside, and if I can have pets. Sometimes with the pets, you do have to pay for pets, and that's why I say you should ask, because you don't want to get fined or something for something that a pet might have messed up, or something that a pet might do, or even just get caught by your landlord or maintenance or whoever with the pet inside and you haven't paid for your pet. So normally with the pet, it's a security deposit for the pet. So they might say, before you move in, you got to pay $400 for your pet, and then it's a $50 a month fee, you know, to have your pet. So it's like paying your rent. You got to pay your security deposit when you first move in for your pet, and then you pay $50 a month or however much a month they say that you have to pay for your pet. So that's why I'm stressing, ask. Can I have pets there? And I'm talking about like dogs and cats pets. They probably won't tell you that you can't have a fish. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that's in a cage. So, I mean, not in a cage, but in a tank. So that probably is okay. But when I say pets, we really mean like dogs and cats. Stuff like that. Alright, moving on to the next box. Oh, no, don't come down. Okay. Uncovering that. Okay, so now the things that we need to think about before we move in, excuse me, it's like I was saying earlier, we have to fill out an application. It's not just like, hey, I'm going up to this apartment and I'm going to tell them I want to live here. Like, you can't really do that. You have to fill out an application. They have to process your application. They have to approve your application. And once that goes through, then you're on the road to money. And then you are on a good start. You're, going down a good path. Everything is moving forward, kind of. So let's talk about this application process. So normally with the application process, the approval you're waiting on is they want to make sure you're making enough money to be able to pay your rent, for one. So they want to check your income. You normally have to turn in some pay stubs with your application. Of course, you have to give them your ID as well when you turn in your application. And maybe a few other important documents as well. And we know our important documents are social and birth certificate and stuff. But I believe it's just your ID and your application, your money for your application. Your ID, your money for your application, and your pay stubs. So, yeah, that's what you turn in or whatever. And they're, again, waiting to approve your income. So they may call your employer or they may do the calculations just based off of the pay stubs that you gave them. Then you're waiting on your background check to come through. They got to make sure that, everything on your background looks good and everything is cool. They can say, okay, for you to live in this neighborhood. Then they got to check your credit history. Normally with with getting an apartment, they only check your credit history for rental history. So they're not like checking your whole credit. They're just checking for rental history. So if you had an apartment previous to this one, they want to see how you're making those payments. Like, were you making them on time? Were you always late with your payments? Were you not making payments? How was that working? Because that helps them. Credit helps people see if they can trust you or not. Basically, that's like the quick and easy way in the world to see, hey, do I trust this person to be able to, live on my property? Are they going to pay me? Are they going to make sure that everything's good? You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So, application, you need ID, pay stubs, and application fee. Most application fees are probably around $50 at the most. I've never seen an application fee more than $50. Sometimes they're less. Like sometimes apartment complexes have specials and shit, and they'll say like, they'll say, hey, we have a $25 special right now. We have a $35 special application fee right now. Or they might waive the application fee and say, hey, we can waive the application fee if you apply for an apartment within this time frame, or whatever the case may be. So you just got to catch them when they got the deals. So yeah, that's the application. Security deposit is something that you give them before you move in. And if your apartment is not a wreck, like holes in the walls and paint is all off and, things like that, then you might get your security deposit back. They do give security deposit back. They do not give security deposit back if the apartment is just completely trashed. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've messed up a lot in that apartment, they're probably not going to give you your security deposit back, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to use your security deposit to help to put that money into the apartment to get whatever you messed up fixed. So that's just how it works. You should look forward to getting your security deposit back, but if you kind of did some damage to that place, then you can kiss that security deposit goodbye. So yeah, that's what you have to pay before you move in as well. You also have to pay your first month's rent before you move in as well. Back to your security deposit for a second. Your security deposit depends on you. So your security deposit can be as much as your first month's rent. So if your first month's rent is $1,100, your security deposit. If your credit isn't looking too good, like they wanted to look, they might approve you for the apartment, but they'll say, all right, your rent is $1,100 and your security deposit in order to move in is $1,100. So already that's $2,200 that you have to put up for this apartment. Minus the application fee. So we said application fee is $50. That's $2,700 already that we're looking at just to move in. Keep in mind that we haven't bought anything yet. We haven't bought any, towels, washcloths, anything for our bathroom, no groceries, no cleaning supplies. We haven't bought anything. So we're already looking at $2,700. So y'all already can see how expensive and stressful. This is where the stressful part comes. Because now I got to make sure I got all this money. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just $100, $200. Like, we're at $2,700 with just first month's rent and security deposit and application fee. And that's just the startup things. Like, that's only the beginning. That's the first step. So, yeah, before we move in, we got our application, we got our security deposit, we got our first month's rent. All right, cool. Then we need to know what's included in the rent. So when I say what's included in the rent, I mean, like, is it, do you have to pay utilities, or are your utilities included in your rent? Like, how is that gonna work? So a lot of places have moved away from all utilities included, but you can get somewhere. Like, there are very few places still, especially in the district, that are still doing all utilities included. So if you can find that, you are on the money. You are doing great. So yeah. Yeah, we need to know what's included. Like, do I have to pay just gas and my electric and water is included for my rent? Or do I have to pay electric and gas and just my water is included in my rent? Like, we need to know what these utilities are looking like so we can know how much we're spending a month. Like, we're already spending $1,100 on rent a month. So I need to know if I need to spend an extra $50, $60, $70, you know what I'm saying, on my utilities. So yeah, I need to make sure I know what is going on. Your lease. You're going to get your lease, of course, before you move in. We need to sign that. We need to get that out the way and get that together first before we move in. Your lease just tells you your do's and don'ts of your apartment, how the tenant is supposed to act and how your landlord is supposed to act, what they can and can't do when it comes to your apartment, what you can and can't do when it comes to your apartment. As far as, like, some landlords are like, no, you can't paint when you get here, you know what I'm saying? Some other landlords are like, yeah, you can paint, but just make sure you paint it back the color that you found it when you first moved in, you know what I'm saying? So, it has to, you got to go through the lease and go through everything so that you know exactly, you know what I'm saying, what's going on or what to do. You need to know your move-in date, of course. We want to know when we move in and when can I get into my place. That is the most exciting day ever. Well, the most exciting day is the move-in day when you pick up your keys and you go move in. And of course, before we move in, we need to know the rent amount and what's the due date. You know what I'm saying? Normally, rent is due at the first of the month. Some places give you a 5-day grace period. Like, they'll say rent is due from the 1st to the 5th. The 5th is the last day to kind of pay your rent before you start getting those late fees. Some places give you 10 days. Like, I've lived somewhere before where I had 10 days to pay my rent. So it was always the 1st through the 10th. And after the 10th, then they start charging you that late fee on your rent. And you don't want late fees, because then you thinking your rent is $1,100, but really now you gotta pay $1,135 or $1,150 or something because now you're late. So no late fees. Try not to get late fees. It's not fun. Another thing that I wanted to touch base on real quick is a prorated amount. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but prorated is, I'm gonna paint the picture for you. So let's say rent is due on the 1st, we said, right? But let's say we applied for the apartment on the 8th or whatever. It took about until the 15th, 16th to get approved. So we found out on the 16th that we're approved for this apartment, right? And we want to take the necessary steps to go ahead and start, doing everything we need to do to move in. Cool. So we, sign the lease and do all that stuff. So let's just say we got approved on the 16th and we want to move it on the 20th. They say we can move it by the 20th. So because we all know that there are only 30 to 31 days in each month, why should I be charged if I've only been here this month for 10 or 11 days? I don't think I should be charged a full $1,100. That's kind of a hefty, that's a bit of a steep amount for me to be here for 10 days. No way, Jose. So what they do is prorate your amount. So I believe they have a calculation that they go by to figure out how much to take off of your rent due to how many days you've been there. So if your rent is $1,100, they might take off $500 and say, hey, you know what I'm saying, you've only been here, you've only going to be here for 10 days this month, so we're going to make you pay $6 something this month. That's your prorated amount. We're going to make you pay $650 this month as your prorated amount for your first month's rent. And then after this, when June 1st comes, because we just moved in, we're just moving in on May 20th, so June 1st is going to come and rent's going to be due again. We only paid $650 for May, but now when June 1st comes, we're going to have to pay that full $1,100 because we're going to be there for the whole month. We're going to be there for the whole 30 days. So prorated is when they calculate and see how much you should be paying based off the time that you moved in to the end of the month. So prorated is normally going to happen if you moved in the middle of the month or towards the end of the month. And you know what I'm saying, the end of the month is approaching. So yes, that's your prorated amount. So don't let anybody overcharge you or tell you, you moved in on the 15th or on the 20th and you got to pay your full rent amount. No. You pay prorated. Cool. So, so let's just go back over this box. So we did our application. We figured out what was included in the rent. We figured out the rent amount and due date. We figured out if we got approved or not. So now we getting our security deposit and our first month's rent together. And we need to know, we need to sign our lease and we need to find out our moving date. And we are getting closer and closer and closer to getting our apartment. This is so fun. Woo! We're almost there. Okay. So you move in. Now it's time for the fun part. We're moving it. Well, moving is not really fun. It's so much work. Like, it's so much. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, moving is a lot of work. But anyways, no. Okay, so moving in, we want to make sure that we go pick up our keys, that we have our keys for our place so we can get in, of course. We want to make sure that we have transportation, whether that be a U-Haul truck, whether that be your grandfather's truck, your uncle's truck, your cousin's truck, your cousin's car, whatever you need, whatever type of your car, whatever type of transportation you need to make sure that you're getting that, that is set in stone on moving day. And essentials. Our essentials are the things that we need to move in. So we need some cleaning supplies to start off. You always want to clean your apartment with your own hands. You know what I'm saying? Your own cleaning supplies thoroughly when you move in. Yes, it's supposed to be clean when you do move in, but just in case it's not, even if it is, like, you don't know, you're about to be living there. So I would just add my own little touch to it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you could definitely do that. So we said we need some cleaning supplies. Of course, we need some groceries. Of course, we need a bathroom set as far as like the curtain and the rugs in the bathroom and stuff. Of course, we need stuff like dish liquid and toothpaste and, you know what I'm saying, things like that. Toilet paper, stuff like that. We want to make sure that we're getting all that the day that we move in, because we can't sleep in here without nothing in here. You might not have, if you didn't, have a bed at your previous place or whatever, or if you did have a bed and you couldn't bring it with you, you want to make sure that you got at least some blankets to start off with if you got to sleep on the floor. You might eventually be able to get an air mattress, or if you can't get it when you first move in, cool. Beds are expensive. They're really expensive. I spent $400 on a bed, and that was just my box spring and the mattress. Beds are really expensive, so yeah, I'd probably wait a little bit because I'm already spending $2,700 just to move in. That's not including my essentials. That's not including my transportation. If you got a U-Haul truck or something, you know, you got to pay for that. Even if you let a family member help you move, they might make you, you know, toss them a little bit of something, you know what I'm saying, just because the labor. So yeah, we want to make sure that when we move in, we got our keys, we got our transportation down pack of how we're going to move all this stuff in, and we got our essentials. So again, my essentials are, you know what I'm saying, everything that I need in my house, everything that I need in my house to be able to sustain and live here by myself. Alright, that was quick. Let's move on to the last box, last but not least. So, like I was saying earlier, just some other things that, you know what I'm saying, that you want to, just make sure you know that you're well aware about. Can I paint in here? You know what I'm saying? Can I put, some places don't like you to put, like, tack holes in the wall, so you can't put tacks and stuff in the wall, like, to hang stuff up. You might have to use tape or something, you know what I'm saying, or that sticky reversal, that sticky stuff that's sticky on both sides, or something if you want to hang something heavy on the wall so that it stays. So, you know what I'm saying, these are just questions that you want to ask or whatever, but all that stuff should be in your lease. This is just stuff that you know, should be thinking about. Move out notices, if they tell you, you know what I'm saying, I don't know, that you have to leave, you want to make sure that you know why you're leaving. You want to make sure that they're going through the right process to make you leave, you know what I'm saying. Nobody can make you leave without giving you a 30-day notice. That I do know. Before you leave any apartment, you have to be given at the least 30 days. Even if you are, yeah, you have to be given 30 days. Evictions, how do evictions work? You want to know, you know what I'm saying, what do I do, what can be done, what can put me at risk for eviction, what can, yeah, basically just what can make me get evicted. Like, if I don't pay my rent for how many months, is that an automatic eviction? If I just don't pay it for 1 month, is that an automatic eviction? If I don't pay it for 2 months, like, how does that work? You want to make sure that, excuse me, you know these things. You want to make sure that you're asking questions. If there's something that you don't understand, you know what I'm saying? Because all this stuff should be in the lease. So when you're going over the lease with your landlord, you want to make sure that you're asking these questions. You know what I'm saying? If you don't understand something, you need to ask, because you don't want to find yourself in a position, you know what I'm saying, maybe you didn't pay your rent for a couple months and now they're trying to evict you. You don't want to be looking like, what the heck, I didn't know, you know what I'm saying, that this was going to happen. I didn't know that they could do this. You know what I'm saying? You want to know all the background information. You want to know what's going on. When it comes, especially when it comes to your living situation, you know, like, it's not right or it's not fair that, you know, someone else really has say so over that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're really the one that has say so about your living situation, because you know what you signed up for. You know what I'm saying? Either you're gonna pay your rent or you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, the world still goes on. Like, it doesn't really, you know, the world doesn't really stop for anybody. Like, people still got bills to pay. Like, if you don't pay your rent, let's say your utilities are included in your rent. If you don't pay your rent, or if it's 3 people, it's a 4-unit building, and 3 people in there not paying rent for the last 3 months, then how is the landlord supposed to pay the utilities on this building? Because, I mean, he's not really getting as much money as he's supposed to be getting, so he probably doesn't have it to pay these utilities. So now how's your water going to be on? Or how's your electric going to be on? You know what I'm saying? Everybody kind of plays a part. Everybody's part works hand in hand. So if you do your part, the landlord will be able to do their part. You know what I'm saying? Or if you need an exterminator to come out, you know what I'm saying, in a 4-unit building, the landlord is probably the person that has to pay for that. So if you're not paying your rent, how, you know what I'm saying, like, how's the landlord gonna be able to take care of the things that you need him to take care of? So let's just be fair on both ends, and both sides of the spectrum. And yeah, you pay your rent, you shouldn't have any issues. You don't pay your rent, that's when issues begin to come. So yeah, this is just my quick little spiel about our apartment search. We did go over a lot, but good thing it's a video. Y'all can rewind if y'all need to. No, but on a serious note, moving out is fun. It is a lot of responsibility, but it is really, really fun. just searching for an apartment and just knowing that, you know what I'm saying, this is your own, something to call your own. So, but yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed my video. And y'all know I'll be back next week with another one, of course. You'll be seeing a whole lot of my face on these videos. I hope you all enjoying it. I hope everybody is out here staying safe, wearing their mask, keeping their mask on them at all times, and gloves. And yeah, I look forward to working with you all soon again when all this is over. So I'm done now. Have a good one.